Esmerelda, the streetwise cunning entertainment performer, or more specifically dancer, is accompanied by her goat Jolly, who acts as her pet, confidant, and sidekick throughout the film. Esmerelda is regarded as one of the best plug-and-plays within DSA, able to bring elite value in every single game mode. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to the Cozy Club, my friends. We've got yet another character in-depth guide masterclass series, and I went ahead and ran a poll on my social media, more specifically Twitter, and asked you guys what in-depth guide do you guys want to see next, and overwhelmingly, y'all said Esmerelda. And well, if you guys have been around my channel for a while, you know exactly how I feel about Esmerelda. Yeah, it's me every time. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Alrighty, Cozy Club. Well, let's go ahead and start the masterclass like we always do, starting with the highlights of the character. Now, Esmerelda gets the bragging rights of being one of the best free-to-play characters within the game, both supportive and really dependable no matter which role or game mode that you call her in. Now, she can reliably take down characters with the help of one of the best underrated summons within the game. She can cleanse in a multitude of ways, both with abilities, but also just with her passive, adding great survivability. And then the single best part about her is she has great control, no matter in PvP, if you're going up against Hercules in the best of legendaries, or within the raids, you're going against a heroic titan. She can just absolutely control the battlefield with amazing abilities. Now, speaking of those great abilities, I'm going to teach you guys how to utilize them the best today, and then what they each do outside of just the description of the abilities. She has great synergy and a very powerful summon like we talked about. Now, I brought my Esmerelda up to gear 9 as I truly use her every single day, but honestly, Esmerelda is going to be great no matter the gear level. Early gear level, she's going to be primarily a support, whereas later on, she could be a lot better offensively with also bringing those support abilities that she has. Again, she has a lot going on for her with two powerful abilities, and her passives are going to add to her survivability with her and her teammates. But again, if you're looking for her to be an offensive juggernaut, you're looking around gear 7 to gear 9. When I say I truly use her every day, I'm not kidding. Pretty much all of my PvP battles have her somewhere on the team. She's great against legendaries and in the current harmful effect meta that's not going away anytime soon. And then since the raids have come out for the Siege on Olympus, I have used her with every one of my raid teams. She's one of the best against the Tornado Titan, and she can truly fit in against any of the Titans with relative ease, and even against Ursula. Now, shifting gears and taking a look at Esmerelda's stats, she is well above average offense for a support character, very high defense, and then great health pools. Now, I say health pools because Jolly has about half of her health, and she's going to be truly balanced across the board. And now, as you can see, most notably, her potency, speed, and precision are all well above average, and all of which you're going to utilize often within her kit. Speaking of speed with Esmerelda, it's one of my favorite things about her. You guys can see here at tier 9, she's even outbeating the legendary Maleficent with 171 with the speed stone, faster than Genie, and then faster than many of the kingdom characters. In fact, if I go to all of my characters, she is right up at the top with the fastest. Now, she's not the fastest within the game, but she's up there in the top 5, which makes her controlling of the battlefield all that much more better, which we're going to get in here in just a second. Looking at her abilities, starting out with hitting below the belt. First of all, 10 out of 10 for the name there. Esmerelda both attacks the enemy as well as calling Jolly to assist. Now, you're going to want Jolly out on the battlefield for a plethora of reasons, and as often as possible, as the little guy enhances Esmerelda more so than the synergy with Quasimodo. Now, both of their hits combine for a staggering almost 8,000 damage for a basic attack. And then after Esmerelda's turn, you immediately get Jolly, which is great to go ahead and throw spells or other opportunities on the field. Now, let's take a second and talk about the little goat Jolly. Now, some summons you don't need to know a lot about, but Jolly, you want to take the time to learn how you can get the most out of the little goat there. And essentially, little Tom Brady, all you need to know is a couple things. First of all, the more buffs that he has on him, the more damage he's going to do. Each and every buff is going to go ahead and stack 15% bonus damage per helpful effect, up to a maximum of 5. And then for Jolly's passive, he's going to have a 30% chance to assist other kingdom heroes, which is really helpful when it comes to using Genie or Belle and Beast, characters that get a lot of turns. This is only kingdom heroes not the villain counterparts. And then Esmeralda having great survivability, but when she does get hit, Jolly's going to have a 60% chance to counterattack. And you'll see as we go through Esmeralda's kit, she's going to have ways to buff up Jolly, give him more and more helpful effects, making him hit that much harder. Now, specifically with her basic attack, I love it in Summoner Showdown. It's one of the best within the entire game mode. And then against the Titans and against the raid, it can deal a lot of damage. Now, you do want to make sure when you're going against the Titans, once they've been empowered, you try not to hit the Titans themselves with Jolly. That's going to feed them a lot of turn meter for not as much damage of a payout. But outside that little con against the Titans, you're going to get plenty of damage from Esmeralda. And again, Kingdom faction, they just kind of thrive off basic attacks from someone like Belle. And then as like a cherry on top as well, Peter Pan shadow either Esmeralda or Jolly. If you shadow Esmeralda, you're going to keep on calling Jolly to assist. If you shadow Jolly, Esmeralda is going to call all of the Jollies to assist. So it's a win-win situation. Great shadow there, and you can't go wrong with either or. Now, looking at Esmeralda's first ability we're going to talk about, it's her cleansing ability. Now, both of her abilities are extremely powerful, but this one you're going to want to usually wait till after Jolly is on the battlefield. I want you to think of this ability like Baymax's Max Cleanse, but like a much smaller version of it. Esmeralda is going to cleanse 3 harmful effects from adjacent allies, and then as a little bonus, she's going to give haste to Kingdom teammates if they're harmful effect free, which is awesome for Genie and Maleficent and some of the powerful Kingdom characters. In addition, guys, for the Jolly bonus, if Jolly is on the battlefield, she's going to purge 1 helpful effect from everybody on the enemy side, which is often overlooked, and this is why we want to wait to use this ability until Jolly is on the battlefield. Now, for PvP, it's great to get rid of taunts or Hercules protects without going right after Hercules and kind of leveling up that empowered. Summoner Showdown, there's a lot of taunts that can get in the way, so this is also really great there. And then finally, within the raids, against someone like the Twisters, you got all these guaranteed crits and sometimes some of your buffs from your team, which is how the Twisters work in their passives. You can go ahead and purge those off with 1 simple ability. Now we're on to Feast of Fools, which is by far Esmeralda's trademark best ability. You want to use this typically on the biggest threat in PvP whose turn is coming up, or you can use it on a raid boss to remove 50% turn meter. Now, using this on Beast, Moana, Princesses, Adventurers, or Hercules can be a huge swing for your team as the basics hurt them badly. Princesses, Adventurers all have extremely powerful basics, and keep in mind this is going to force whoever you target to lose that turn meter and also target the enemy team. In addition, it's going to treat those enemies like they're on your team, so if they attack someone like Belle and they have a Beast on their team, Beast is going to instantly activate his passive and help you out and also do additional attacks. And so this can really end the battle pretty quickly against some of the best teams within the game. And then you combine that with the fact that Esmeralda has some of the highest speed in the game. And if they're not protected behind like a Baymax or a Gumbo Pot, they're going to be screwed. And on that note, have a Gumbo Pot if you are with Tiana and you see an Esmeralda. Throw that out there as soon as possible to at least help absorb some of those attacks a little bit. Although sometimes be careful though, you don't want to power up the enemy's Maleficent and build up her passive, or the enemy Esmeralda is going to use her Jolly and get an immediate turn. You want to be careful who you use this on, and the best way you can do that is knowing the other character's basic attacks that you're using it on. Now, if all of that wasn't enough for this amazing ability, you're stripping that turn meter, you're making them attack each other, they're going to be mostly pretty dang hurt after you use this. You get a free infinity-sided die, which essentially is going to give everyone on your team a 60% chance to get 1 random helpful effect for the team. Now, I tend to find that this leans more towards guaranteed crit for your own teammates, which is obviously one of the best helpful effects in the game. And keep in mind, Jolly just gets better and better with more helpful effects as well. Now, obviously and notably, if you've watched any of my raid guides, this is going to be best against the raid bosses within the game, especially the Tornado Titan, in which he destroys all of the Twisters on the battlefield. However, a quick tip, if you are using this, and this goes for anybody with turn meter reduction, let the raid boss get their first turn. There seems to be a little bit of a heavy tenacity in place before the boss gets that first turn out. So wait for that boss to get the first turn and then use the turn meter reduction like Feast of Fools. Next up, we have our first passive, Justice. Now, Justice is awesome because it passively cleanses your teammates. It has about a 35% chance to flip, not just cleanse, but flip one of those harmful effects. So if something as powerful as Maleficent's charm ability, you can flip that on the dime. And then on top of that, if it is a silence, you're going to have up to an 85% chance to go ahead and flip that to unstoppable. So right off the bat, a huge counter to Ursula or harmful effects that come flying at your team before you even get a chance to get adjusted. Now, concerning her passives, Esmeralda's first passive is for the team. However, the second passive is all about bringing survivability to both her and her summonable goat, Jolly. When Esmeralda receives a harmful effect, guys, she's going to have a 20% chance to gain both stealth and evasion. Jolly, if he's on the field, is going to gain both of these. And then the best part is, if you choose to take her all the way up to gear 9, you can make this start at the very beginning of the battle, which is immediately going to eliminate the enemy from targeting Esmeralda, which is going to give you a great cleanser. And then you pretty much automatically get to use Feast of Fools, reducing that turn meter and putting the enemy against themselves. And there's nothing the enemy can do to stop this. As far as stones go for the dancer herself, pretty much you definitely want to roll with a speed stone on Esmeralda. Really not worth putting anything else on her. But if we look at perfect teammate pairings, again, great plug and play. She can go with just about any teammate. However, if you're just starting off, or if you're more in the early, mid, and even beginning of late game, Quasimodo makes a great pairing for her. Her and Quasi are going to be one of the best combinations to beat the Ascension campaign. Really good for kind of easy raid teams as they have great synergy. We're going to get to that here in just a moment. And then lastly, Claude Furlough. You need both of them to unlock Furlough. And Furlough really speeds up his passives every time Esmeralda uses one of her abilities. And so naturally, that's a great combination. Now, typically, Esmeralda can handle the cleansing herself, although I do like to pair her up with one other cleanser within PvP, like Tiana, maybe Baymax, to really make sure that there's no way the enemy can shut you down. There's no way they can stop Esmeralda. But if she's your only cleanser, let's say for like a kingdom team, or, maybe her and Belle, that'll do you just fine. Now, Esmeralda and poor Quasimodo. Now, while Quasimodo might be in the friend zone, they've got a lot of synergy and duo synergy between one another. You guys saw Esmeralda has the ability to give Quasimodo harmful immunity amongst a couple of helpful effects. But having Quasimodo on the field, he really amps up Esmeralda's in a multitude of ways. First of all, with Quasimodo's basic attack, you're able to give Esmeralda haste, making her 50% faster, which just seems crazy. With using Quasimodo's ability Sanctuary, you're also going to give a free passive to Esmeralda in stealth and evasion. And then finally, in addition to that, if Esmeralda enters the danger zone, you're going to go ahead and give her an undefeatable, keeping her alive with stealth, evasion, undefeatable. So it's going to be very hard to take Esmeralda down. All right, Cozy Club, so that is going to be it for the Esmeralda Masterclass in-depth guide. Sorry if I seemed a little different today. I did get myself a COVID booster, and I'm trying my best to film this thing, but we should be back and ready to go for next week for some great videos. If you guys have not already and you want more Masterclass in-depth guides, comment down below which character you want me to break down to the fullest degree. My friends, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and until next time, stay cozy.